uh, the rowing continues for some minutes here, and you row pretty hard through the mist. You know the way; it's familiar to you. You've once done this before, and after a few more minutes of rowing, the mists begin to part, and you see the sun rising up in the sky, and you feel the same kind of warmth coming from it, and you see the island looming up in the distance, sandy beaches and rocks calling you back home. And you continue to row ever harder as you see a female figure on the beach waiting for you. What are you doing at this point?
Rowing with a big smile on his face, he goes ashore and looks Signe in the eyes and goes, "Sounded like you might need some company. You won't believe the stories I have to tell."
The slim figure of Signe with the pallid skin and the white hair, vampire in life and now on the Isle of Avalon, still preserved here. She smiles and says, "But I've been with you this whole time." And she kind of looks towards her little stiletto dagger, which she pulls out, one of two twins, and puts it back in, and embraces you immediately for a long kiss. And she says, "I knew you'd come back here. I knew you'd find me again."
You know my heart belongs here with you. When Cuthbert and Our Lady are done with me, this is where I will reside. But it seems they still have much for me to do. We are embroiled in a horrible conflict right now. We're fighting for the very life of a culture and of a people who are in dire straits. They have a legend, the Samurai Sigil. It's similar to the legend of my people, of the Holy Grail and the Knights of the Round Table. But there's been so much subterfuge and deception wrapped around it, we have not been able to even discern its true nature. Yoda, one of the oracles, gave me, I show her the twin dagger.
She nods and says,
"Had this returned back to me. Well, I never realized I had lost it, but I think maybe being surrounded by the deception and now finding clarity again, I was able to find your dagger again. It returned me and brought me here to you."
She nods and says, "It did. You see, when we made that deal with the Raven Queen, all that time ago, when last you were here, there was more sacrifice than we really knew for our bond. This love of ours, this connection we have, keeping me here and preserving me, came at a price. And that price was, well, the goodness from the land. The Sigil, as it was called, or the Holy Grail, this Isle of Avalon here. I've remained here for so long, and our connection has remained true. We've been able to see one another and continue our love, but I realize now the price is too great. I cannot remain here. I can't stay. I can't let people continue to suffer on my account, and I won't let you do that either."
Signe,
Gavin.
I don't want you to go, but if it is if it is our connection that is dooming these people, then we must.
She nods sadly and says, I know. But think of all these happy years. Think of all the good times and you'll remember me.
Always. I'll remember you whenever I see the ocean upon the shore.
The sun kissing those waves like it did when I was a kid. All those years ago.
Gavin gets down on one knee and goes, well, before you go though, will you at least honor me with a silly tradition, and will you marry me?
Took you a long time. Of course I will. Of course I will.
Far too long.
She kind of takes your hand and brings you up to kiss her. And she's crying while she's doing this as well.
Gavin, because he always has them, he pulls out, actually he probably pulls out a platinum coin, a silver coin, and a gold coin. And using Sacred Flame, heats them up, and actually using his own hands, even though it's burning into his skin, melts them and forms them into three intertwined sort of ribbons of gold, platinum, and let's make it electrum just so it sounds cool, of these twining vines, and says, I guess with this ring, I am yours for all eternity and beyond. Know that you are the only love I will ever know.
And with this ring I am yours. And this is the only love I have ever known.
I will still tell you stories. I will say them into the night every night, so you know where I've gone and what I've done.
I will listen. I will be on the waves each night, praying and smiling.
He reaches down and cradles either side of her face and kisses her, and looks into her eyes and just tries to remember every detail. Knows that her moments are fading away and just tries to kiss her as long as he can.
And as you're kissing her and you're holding her and tears are falling from her, she says, I love you, Gavin Fjordhammer.
I love you, Signe, for all time.
And as you're hugging her and your eyes are closed, you slowly feel the grasp on her weakening as Gavin is letting go of Signe, and she begins to just fade away from existence. And you're left there after what feels like hours in this embrace of her as the sun is shining down upon the waves, until eventually Gavin is on his own on the beach in the Isle of Avalon.
Gavin just sort of falls to his knees for a moment, gathers himself, and he knows he pulls out the dagger, the stiletto that he still has, that was hers, and holds it up to his chest and knows there's now people who need saving, and hope to bring to those you can have none. And he hops in the rowboat and begins to row back to the shore.
And that is where we're going to end this episode of the Samurai Sigil. Oh, man. Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, I'm excited for that fan art for Will Squall.
Yeah, man. That was emotional.
So.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Kind of speechless.
Well, you are amazing at this. There is no doubt.
You too, man. You too. I was crying.
Oh, dude, I was totally.
I was crying.
I was trying to hold it in a little bit so that I wouldn't completely break down and not be able to speak. But yeah, no, it was there was there.
Guys, that was a lot to do. I was so nervous about that scene because I knew it was coming all season. And if you guys haven't watched the origin story, go onto YouTube and look at the Samurai Sigil playlist. I watched the first video on that, and yeah, probably around a similar time towards the end of the show. That's the last half an hour or so. Go ahead and watch that. And that was kind of what inspired the campaign after we did that scene, where he left her on the beach and their love would be kind of eternal. On the Isle of Avalon, and then that inspired the whole idea of the Isle of Avalon, and there being a price to pay for that kind of eternal love. So basically, the Samurai Sigil is a big love story. I don't know if you got on to that or not, but if you guys did enjoy that show, please do let us know. That was so much fun to get to do, and very powerful and emotional to get to act out. If you did enjoy it, of course, follow. Hit that follow button. We're here all the time. Every week a Samurai Sigil. So yeah, we're gonna find out what's on the Isles for Shin and Ryok soon, and what awaits them there in this strange land. So hey to Toddman and Gungravix, both gentlemen and scholars. Of course.
It was interesting. I didn't know, because I assumed that I could only go to the island, so I didn't know how you were going to deal with them. The fact that they each have their own island to deal with.
Yeah.
Get ready, guys.
I wanted to do List Islands first. Yeah, we're gonna get to those next week. So let's hear. Thanks, Griff. Mum's gonna come in here and ask why I'm crying. So let's go around and let's get some feedback from the players. Let's start with Gavin. Start Tall Scroll. So Tall Scroll, what do you think of the episode today?
Well, you saw when I realized.
Yeah.
And realized then that the whole campaign had been that. That moment when I said it was everything, because as soon as you said that to go to the Isle.
Yeah.
It all came together. It's like this entire season, was all that. So, and then of course, I'm sure people saw in the camera as soon as Signe said that it was their love.
Yeah.
My heart crashed because I knew what we were going to have to do.
Yeah.
And in the good way, in the, oh God, this is going to hurt. But
yeah.
I'm wow. It was great, Will.
Thanks, man.
The fact that this has been, of all crazy things, this is the power of chat and viewer decisions. This all came from Gavin getting his hand cut off.
Yeah.
When you really get right down to it, and then Mike and Josh not being available for a stream, so we had to do this origin story, which suddenly became the story of Gavin and Signe. And I saw someone. I always like to watch these later. everybody, thank you so much for the wonderful comments. I try to look over and it always helps me to get through some of those scenes when I can look over and see that people are responding and enjoying what we're doing.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I think I saw someone wanting to know what Gavin looks like. I'll post the link to his sort of pre-adventuring blacksmith art that I have them. And then I think certainly in Origin, there's a really good description of Signe, but she's a white-haired, pale-skinned. She's a vampire, short, with sort of a little bit on the goth side. I'd have to go back. In Origin, there's a really great description. It's about 30 minutes in when I first meet Signe, and Will really gives a good description. And then the whole story, sorry, as I get choked up again, about her and her origin as becoming a vampire is where the whole connection with the sea comes in, and was really when both. I think Will really had something entirely planned for that session and realized that there was a real love story that was about to happen.
Yeah, it just happened. It really did.
And so that's where that started. And that's
the crazy thing about it. That origin story, I'd never I didn't plan for that to be like a romance thing. I didn't plan for that to happen. It just seemed to kind of happen. So that was really nice and spontaneous. And then from there, almost that entire session, we improvised those whole scenes out in the origin stories. Mike, what are your thoughts on the session?
So I literally just had a huge feelsy episode on in one of my sessions, one of my campaigns.
Yeah.
So I didn't expect you to take full on country versus country war and then spin it this way, and I was like, I don't know what's happening. I wasn't in that episode. And I was like, oh no, it's story time with Squall and Will. I didn't see that coming at all. First of all, I didn't see it coming because I didn't see your one shot, and I didn't see your origin story.
Yeah.
So I didn't see that coming. Period. But then to have us go from all out war to that, I didn't see that transition happening. So I was completely caught off guard, and I enjoyed every second of it. Yeah, it's always one thing to be the DM doing it, but to see it just just watch as a viewer, basically happening. It's definitely pretty cool.
Thanks, man. And where can we find your channel, of course?
You can do !Eeyore in the chat. It's Unmade Gaming over there. And if you guys feel like it, we have a 12-hour stream this Saturday, and Josh is going to be DMing a mad dungeon crawl, is what he called it. So yeah, come feel free to hang out. Squall's going to be playing on that. A bunch of people.
Awesome. Also, Torsko, where can we find you on the internet? I forgot to ask.
You can find me here on Mondays, Samurai Sigil. After the New Year's, I'll be here both Mondays and Tuesdays in this similar time slot. I also have just begun on my channel on Saturdays at noon a new campaign called The Vice. We just had our first episode on Saturday. Well, a prequel episode on Saturday. We've done a couple of other prequels here on Will's channel, but it's the first time on my channel, and it ended up turning out really well. I know me and the cast are all very proud of how it came together. They were freaking amazing. So if you want to come tune in over there for a world that I'm DMing, would love to have you guys come on over. It's a small little channel now. The one nice thing is I do run it 100% for charity, so all donations to affect gameplay, all of that money that's raised goes 100% to charity. So feel free to stop in, and would love to see you over there on Saturdays at noon.
Absolutely. Finally, Josh, thoughts on the episode as well?
Yeah. Wow. That was I genuinely I thought we might have hit the big one in the canyon for a moment. I thought we might have overstepped that mark. So yeah, that was emotional. I mean, Riot going down, I mean, that's just tit for tat, but then he nat one, it's death save, and I was like, oh damn. And yeah, I didn't know how the hell we were going to get everyone out, and I think it went quite well. However, I've been kind of itching to have a go and see if we can figure out what this Samurai Sigil is, and it was nice to sort of make that progress.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm not aware of it because I have no idea what's in store for me next episode, and that's a little terrifying to have this sort of like big ominous. Like I have no idea what Shinzai was going to be, and I'm like trials and tribulations, and there's so many things it could be that could be totally terrible.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm
Awesome.
gonna be up and happy about it, and yeah.
Awesome. Alright then, guys. Well, I'm going to be back on tomorrow at 1 p.m. EST for Dawnbreaker, Steampunk Dungeons and Dragons with airships and crazy shenanigans going on there. 4 p.m. is Tinker's Tale again. Myself, Josh, Kira, Charlie, Sydney, and Lee. Lee's a DM. I can't believe I didn't mention that. Lee's a DM for that one. So join us again for another 6 hours Dungeons and Dragons. Thanks again, a huge amount to Laura Lania for the huge host earlier on today. If you don't follow Laura Lania, she is the Queen of Spiders, and praise be the Lolth for Laura Lania. You'll see her on the show soon. We do plan to get her on as soon as possible. So, thank you again for that. Thank you to Finbar for the huge host as well earlier today. Awesome guy. Go check out Maffin TV on Twitch. Yeah, twitch.tv/Maffin TV. There's a link there. We're going to go head off and probably chat for a little bit about the session. I'm going to go and, enjoy your evenings, everybody. And we'll see you again next time on the kind of roleplay. But, of course, until then, try not to roll too many nat ones, because they'll make you cry. And we'll see you guys again very soon.
Bye.
Bye.